All right, let's get right into it. Looks like a wild midweek round of Premier League matches.
Yeah, some real head scratchers in here for sure.
You sent these over, and I gotta say, some of these results. Arsenal beating Manchester United,
hmm
Newcastle and Liverpool, that was a goal fest.
Absolutely.
And Chelsea, they're making a real push up the table.
They are. Definitely a statement week from them.
So are you ready to kind of break down some of these upsets, some of the standout performances? I mean, there were a lot.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is one of those weeks where, throw the script out the window. Some teams are going to have to go back to the drawing board after this one.
Well, let's start with that Arsenal win, 2-0 over Manchester United. The thing that really jumps out, both of those goals, corner kicks.
Yeah,
And not just lucky deflections or anything. This seems like, something they've been working on.
it seems like it, yeah. Set pieces, man, they're becoming like the big story this season.
Yeah.
And Arsenal is showing exactly why. You think back a few seasons ago, goal difference didn't really decide the title.
Right.
But now everything's so tight. Those extra points from set pieces, huge.
And it wasn't just, any old corners. Both goals were headers.
Total dominance in the air.
First, Timber scores from a Rice corner.
Mm-hmm.
Then Saliba. Saka with the corner. Partey heads it back across. Saliba puts it in.
Beautiful. I mean, they're not just chucking it in there and hoping for the best. They're mixing it up, In swingers, out swingers. Sometimes they'll even pull everyone out with the short corner, then whip it in.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly doing their homework. They're finding those weaknesses and they're exploiting them.
So this puts Arsenal 7 points behind Liverpool. Manchester United, though, they are in 11th place.
Yeah,
Not the start they were hoping for.
definitely not. This loss, it kind of puts them on the back foot, doesn't it? If they want to climb back up that table, they got to figure out how to defend those set pieces fast.
Okay, let's shift gears. Chelsea, they destroyed Southampton 5-1.
Oh, yeah.
And that scoreline, it bumps them up to second place.
It's all about goal difference now, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, with the way teams are defending this year, it's going to be crucial. Remember a few seasons back, that title came down to, a single goal? Chelsea's playing the long game, putting
Yeah.
themselves in a strong position early.
Now, Southampton, they went down to 10 men in the first half. Stevens gets a red card after a VAR review.
Oof. Tough break.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a man down against a team like Chelsea. That's a recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah.
Tough break for Southampton. But it really shows how, one decision, one moment can just change the entire game.
And Chelsea took full advantage. Disasi, Nkunku, Midweek, Palmer, and Sancho, all with goals.
Clinical.
Absolutely.
Just a complete attacking masterclass, really.
Mm.
They were relentless. That kind of scoreline sends a message, doesn't it? They're not just here to play, they're here to win. Southampton, though, they're at the bottom of the table now.
They've got a long way to go.
Yeah, they've got their work cut out for them, that's for sure.
Okay. Speaking of contenders, Manchester City, they finally broke their losing streak. 8 games.
8 games.
They beat Nottingham Forest 3-0. And, Kevin De Bruyne, he's back. I think it's safe to say he made an immediate impact, right?
Oh, yeah, like night and day. It was almost, you could see shades of that classic Manchester City, that movement, that crisp passing, and they were finishing those chances. De Bruyne, he was right at the heart of it. He assists Silva's opener, that scores one himself. Doku adds a third, and you could just see the confidence coming back into that team.
This win puts them in 4th, 9 points behind Liverpool.
Still a lot of ground to make up.
But, they're not out of it yet.
Not at all. De Bruyne, he is the engine of that team. When he's playing like that, they've got the firepower, they've got the experience. They can absolutely make a push for the title.
All right, Everton, another team celebrating this week. They ended their winless streak, 5 matches it had been.
Yep.
They beat Wolves 4-0. And here's a funny detail. 2 of those goals, own goals, by Wolves' Dawson.
Oh, man. Sometimes, it's just not your day, is it?
That's right.
You got to feel for the guy. But, football can be a cruel game.
Yeah.
And luck definitely played a part in this one. But, got to give Everton credit. They took advantage of those opportunities. They put in a solid performance.
They looked hungry for that win.
Yeah.
This victory takes them to 15th, 5 points clear of the relegation zone. I bet they're breathing a sigh of relief right now.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
A single win can change everything. The mood around the club, the
Yeah.
pressure lifts. This gives them some breathing room. And now they've got a platform to build on.
Okay, now let's talk about Liverpool. Their winning streak, 4 games, comes to an end.
Mm-hmm.
It was a draw against Newcastle, 3-3.
Man, what a match. Up and down, back and forth, drama right down to the final whistle. Liverpool's probably disappointed not to get the win.
Yeah.
But they're still top of the table. 7-point lead.
And Mo Salah, another outstanding game for him. He scores twice in the second half. He's scored in 7 straight matches now.
Salah's on fire right now, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's more than just a goal scorer, too. He's setting up teammates. His movement is unbelievable. He's a defender's worst nightmare. But got to give Newcastle credit. They battled hard.
Oh, yeah.
Came back strong.
That last-minute equalizer from Schär, what a heartbreaker for Liverpool.
Yeah.
But for the neutral fan, 6 goals. What a game.
Couldn't take your eyes off it for a second. End to end. Both teams giving it their all. Honestly, that's the Premier League's all about.
All right, last but not least, Aston Villa. They finally end their winless streak. 8 matches they went without a win.
Wow.
3-1 win over Brentford. And get this, all 3 goals in the first half, a 13-minute span.
Really?
Talk about coming out of the gates hot.
That's the Villa we've been waiting to see. Rodgers opens the scoring, a rocket from way out. Then Watkins wins a penalty, converts it, and Cash finishes it off. This powerful volley. It was clinical attacking football.
It was like they were bottled up, all that frustration from those past matches, and they just, boom, unleashed it.
Exactly, just like that. And it shows how quickly things can turn around, right?
Yeah.
One week you can't buy a goal. Next week you're putting 3 past a decent Brentford side.
Yeah.
Just goes to show the Premier League, anything can happen.
It does. So this win puts them in 7th place, right back in the mix. So all these matches, what do they tell us about the bigger picture here?
Well, the Premier League, it lives up to its reputation. Most unpredictable league in the world. We're seeing these unexpected results. The title race is wide open. I mean, anything could happen.
Liverpool, they're leading right now, but Chelsea and Arsenal are breathing down their necks.
Absolutely.
And Manchester City, well, they're back in form. It's going to be a fascinating second half of the season.
Oh, yeah. And don't count out Manchester City. They might be down, but they're not out. They get De Bruyne firing on all cylinders. Watch out.
Okay, but it's not just the title race. This battle for a top 4 finish, it's intense. So many teams in contention.
It is. Yeah. And at the other end of the table, that relegation battle, that's just as intense. Teams like Southampton, like Wolves, they're in a real dogfight right now. Right. Every single point matters.
It's going to be a nail-biter, that's for sure. But before we move on, this trend we're seeing with set pieces. Arsenal's not the only team benefiting from this, right?
Right.
I mean, Everton got a little help from one, even if it was an own goal.
Yeah. It's becoming clear teams are putting more emphasis on set pieces. They're trying to break down these defenses. It's like they found a new weapon, a new way to get that edge.
It's like a secret weapon that's not so secret anymore.
Exactly. And the question is, which teams are going to figure out how to defend against this? Because it could be the difference maker this season.
It's fascinating, really. It's almost like, we're seeing a whole tactical shift. Set pieces are becoming just as important as, open play.
It is, yeah.
The teams that master this, both attacking and defending, they're going to have a real leg up. It's almost like a chess match now, right? You've got to anticipate your opponent's moves, find those little weaknesses, and exploit them.
Yeah, exactly. And with all the data, the analysis that teams have now, I mean, we're seeing some crazy innovative set-piece routines. It's really something.
Okay, so set pieces, big deal. But from these midweek matches, what else kind of jumped out at you? Anything that maybe surprised you or made you kind of rethink the current standings?
Well, some of the top teams, their fortunes are kind of going in opposite directions right now. That's something to watch for sure.
Yeah.
Liverpool, they dropped points, but they're still at the top. But Chelsea and Arsenal are right behind them. And then you got Manchester City, they're starting to make a comeback. It's really interesting how it's all playing out.
Liverpool, though, they've been, so consistent so far. But this draw against Newcastle, it shows they're not invincible.
No, not at all. And that's what makes this season so exciting. There's no clear favorite, no one running away with it. It's anyone's game.
And Chelsea, that goal difference, that could be a big factor, with how tight it is at the top.
Huge, yeah. They're not just winning, they're winning big. And in this league, every goal counts. It could be the difference between first and second place, lifting the trophy or not.
Arsenal, too. They seem to have found another gear with their new manager. That strategic approach, it's working.
It is, yeah. They've got a clear identity now, a way they want to play. And the players are buying in. That win against Manchester United, that was a statement.
It was.
They're not afraid of anyone.
And Manchester City, a lot of people wrote them off after that losing streak, but they're back.
De Bruyne, man, getting him back is huge. World-class player. He changes the game. He brings creativity, leadership. And when he's on, they're just a different team.
It's like flicked a switch, suddenly they're back to their old selves.
It's not going to be easy, but they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. They've got the experience, the quality, and now they've got that belief back.
So we've got, what, a 4-horse race at the top. But what about the teams in the middle of the table? You think we might see any surprises from them? I mean, take Aston Villa, for example. They just ended that winless run pretty emphatically, too.
You never know in this league. Aston Villa, they've shown flashes of brilliance this season. Good mix of young players and veterans. Their manager's a smart guy tactically. If they can put it all together, they could be a dark horse for a European spot.
And Newcastle, don't forget about them, held Liverpool to a draw, and they've been one of the surprises this season.
Yeah, they're a team on the rise, definitely. Made some good signings. They're playing with confidence. They've got the fans behind them. They can shake things up a bit.
So you really never know in the Premier League. Upsets can happen anywhere, anytime. That's what keeps us coming back, right?
That's it. You just never know what's going to happen from one week to the next. Any team can beat any other in their day. That's why we love it.
What about you? Going into these next matches, what are you most curious about? Any storylines you're watching particularly closely?
Well, for me, it's Arsenal. Can they keep this momentum going?
Yeah.
They've been playing great football. They believe in themselves. Can they keep this level up and put the pressure on Liverpool?
They've got some tough matches coming up.
They do. The next few weeks will be a real test. If they can come through those, still strong, then they're serious contenders.
What about Chelsea? They're sitting pretty in second, but can they handle the pressure? They haven't been in this position for a while.
That's a good question. It'll be interesting to see how they deal with those expectations. They've got the talent, but they need to stay focused, avoid those slip-ups.
And Manchester City. Can they keep this resurgence going? Close that gap on Liverpool?
That's the big one for me. De Bruyne, like we said, he's a game changer. But can they be consistent? These next few matches are crucial. If they can get a few wins in a row, they're right back in the race.
So Arsenal's momentum, Chelsea's consistency, and Manchester City's resurgence. Anything else that's really piquing your interest?
I'm also really interested in the relegation battle.
Yeah. It's a different kind of drama, but it's just as compelling. You got all these teams fighting for survival. The pressure's incredible.
The stakes are so high.
Yeah, every match is a must-win. And we've seen some surprises already this season, haven't we? Teams that were supposed to be in trouble have picked up points. Some of the bigger teams have stumbled. You just never know.
Every team has the potential to pull off an upset.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to, some of those unexpected results from this midweek round. Arsenal beating Manchester United, both goals from corners.
Yeah, that was something else. Arsenal just completely outsmarted United's defense. They were so well organized, so efficient. It really shows, you can't underestimate set pieces.
They're so important now.
Absolutely. And it's not just attacking them, it's defending them, too. You got to be good at both.
In Everton, their win against Wolves, that was surprising. I mean, those 2 own goals definitely helped, but they were also pretty good going forward. Yeah, they wanted that win. They were aggressive, they played with determination, and they finished their chances. A performance like that can give a team a lot of confidence.
And then Newcastle holding Liverpool to that draw. Schär's equalizer at the end, what a twist.
Yeah, they didn't give up even when they were behind. They deserved something from that match. Shows you never write a team off in this league.
Anything can happen.
Exactly. That's what makes it so unpredictable, so entertaining.
So these upsets, what do you think they tell us about the Premier League right now?
Well, it's more competitive than ever. There are no easy games. Anyone can beat anyone on any given day. The difference between winning and losing, it's so small.
It really shows the quality of the league, the depth of talent.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a really exciting season, and we're only just getting started.
Okay, let's talk about some of the individual performances this week. Mo Salah, he scored in 7 straight matches.
Unbelievable. He's in top form right now. The consistency is amazing. All kinds of goals. He's setting up his teammates, leading by example. He's just a nightmare to play against.
He is, yeah. And he's a big reason why Liverpool are still at the top.
Absolutely. World-class player.
Kevin De Bruyne coming back from injury. Huge boost for Manchester City.
Oh, yeah. Genius, magician with the ball, his vision, his passing, the way he controls the game. Just exceptional. It makes everyone around him better.
It looks so easy.
That's what the great ones do, right?
And Arsenal's new manager, he seems to have brought a new belief to that team.
He has. Fresh perspective, new energy. He's got a plan, and the players are responding. They're organized, they're disciplined, and they're ruthless going forward.
It's working, that's for sure.
It is.
The Premier League, it's a breeding ground for young talent, too. More and more young players are breaking through, making a name for themselves.
It's great to see, the next generation coming up. They're fearless, they want to win, and they're bringing a whole new energy to the league.
They're not afraid to take risks, to try things.
Exactly. That's what makes them so fun to watch. They're pushing boundaries. They're the future of the Premier League.
And we can't forget about the legends, the players who have really left their mark. Shearer, Henry, Ronaldo. So many greats.
Yeah, they've inspired so many people with their skill, their passion. Their legacy will last forever.
They set the bar high, and they showed us what's possible when you combine talent, hard work, and a love for the game.
The Premier League wouldn't be the same without them.
So we've got a tight title race, the battle for European spots, the relegation fight, and all these young stars emerging. It's all happening right now.
Best league in the world, and it just keeps getting better.
What do you think? What's the future of the Premier League?
Well, I think it's only going to get bigger. It's a global brand now, fans all over the world. The quality of football is incredible, and the competition is fierce. I think we're going to see some amazing things in the next few years.
Can't wait to see what happens next. But before we wrap up, let's just take a moment to appreciate all this talent we get to watch every week. These players performing at the highest level. It's pretty special.
It is. We're lucky to have the Premier League. It's so entertaining, it's exciting, it's inspiring.
It's a reminder that anything is possible, when you combine passion, dedication, and a love for the beautiful game.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's easy to just, focus on the title race, the top four, all that. But we can't forget those teams at the bottom fighting for their lives.
Right.
Relegation, it's tough. 3 teams go down every year. The pressure must be immense.
It is. It's a constant battle, and the margin for error is so small. One bad run, that can be the difference between staying up and getting relegated.
Southampton, they're at the bottom right now. They had a rough time against Chelsea, that's for sure. 10 men down, that didn't help.
No, definitely not. That red card, it was a turning point for sure. But even with a full squad, they're struggling. They need to find a way to score more goals, and they got to tighten up that defense. It's a lot to fix, and they need to do it fast.
Wolves, too, they're in a bit of a slump right now. That loss against Everton, those 2 own goals, ouch, that had to hurt.
Yeah, tough to bounce back from something like that, especially when you're already lacking confidence. They need to stop conceding goals and start believing in themselves again. Sometimes all it takes is a couple of good results, to turn things around.
It seems like for these teams down at the bottom, it's not just about tactics or formations. It's about, mental toughness.
Oh, absolutely. The pressure is unbelievable. You got to be able to stay focused, stay positive, keep fighting, no matter what. The teams that can do that, they're the ones that usually find a way to survive.
So what is it? What separates those top teams from the ones fighting relegation? It can't just be talent, right?
No, it's more than that. It's a lot of things, but I think it comes down to consistency. Those top teams, they have a certain mentality, a winning habit. They rarely have bad games, and even when they're not at their best, they find a way to get the result.
Whereas the teams struggling, they might have those moments of brilliance, but they can't do it for a full 90 minutes, week in, week out. They make mistakes, lose focus, and that costs them points.
Exactly. And over a 38-game season, those mistakes, they add up. The best teams, they limit those errors, and they take advantage of their opponent's mistakes. They have that killer instinct.
So it's not just about individual skill, it's about a team mentality, a culture of winning.
Right. Teamwork, discipline, constantly striving to get better, creating an environment where everyone is accountable, everyone pushes themselves.
That's a great point. It's not just what happens on the pitch, it's about what happens off the pitch, too. But now I want to hear from you, our listener. What are your thoughts on this midweek round of matches? Anything surprise you? Make you rethink things? What are you looking forward to in the next round of games? Let us know, because this is a conversation, not a lecture. We're all in this together, sharing this passion for the Premier League.
Well said. Every match, it's a new story, full of twists and turns, upsets, moments of magic. That's what keeps us coming back. We'll be back soon to break it all down, all the excitement, all the drama of this incredible league.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep.